Her name is Chise Hattori, a penniless orphan troubled by visions. Sold as a slave to an inhuman mage, she is about to begin a strange new life, filled with magic, fairies, and other beings of a fantastical nature. Hey everybody, welcome back to another exciting episode, another edition of A Week in Geekdom here on YouTube. This time we're going into manga territory, and I am referring to the ancient Magus Bride. I have been meaning to review this for a while now, and I figured, you know what, it's about time. 2019, let's try out different things for this channel. So I'm getting more reviews in for manga books that I'm reading or I'm getting and all that stuff. Anyways, The Ancient Magus Bride. This is one of those lovely books that I really recommend. However, be warned, it might not be what you're expecting. But if you give it a shot, you're gonna dig it. Basically, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, this character, Chise, she is being sold off in this weird auction, and you're like, what the hell is going on? And it isn't until this mysterious mage character happens to come across her and buys her out. Right away, you're like, what is happening to this poor girl? And Chise has this unique quality about her where she is very calm, collected, but yet she is such a tragic creature that is just going through the motions, and she has led a miserable life. It has been filled with abuse, with violence, with sadness, depression, all those elements, where she's just basically a hollow version of herself compared to when she was much younger. Now in comes this guy right there, this mage character, Elias Ainsworth. Now, Elias is also a very mysterious character. He has lived for, I think they mention, like 300 years or something like that. He knows everything. He's this wizard-type character, this mage. And the book really goes into detail explaining how mages work and the laws of nature that they adhere to and the power that they borrow from nature. Whereas people like alchemists, or I guess modern scientists, they break those rules. And I like one of the examples that Elias uses in the book where the mages are using a computer with a password and they enter with that password to access all the information, whereas the alchemist would be a hacker trying to hack into the information. That's how he views the system, or at least that's how he's trying to explain it to Chise, who has no idea what he's talking about. She's completely aloof as to what's happening. She has no control over the situation, and some people might be upset about that because of her character type, and you might say, oh, it's playing into the trope of the helpless person being sold off. She was like a former slave, and now she is a property of said character. But in a way, Elias is freeing her, and for reasons that have not yet been revealed in this volume. Of course, there are many more books, but I'm just talking about the first one. You don't know why he's doing the things that he's doing, and that is part of the mystery which intrigued me and wanted me to keep going with the book. They encounter several fantastic characters, and while the plot is a little bit scarce because you don't know what's happening, you're seeing things from Chise's perspective, you do get enough of a sense where you, this whiff of magic, where you're intrigued. Story or page after page, something happens where it captivates your attention. One of the most beautiful things I've read was the whole dragon sequence. Yes, there are dragons in this book because it's a magical story, so there's going to be fairies and magic and dragons and all these elements and like spells and potions and all that stuff. Really cool stuff. If you like that genre, you're going to love The Ancient Magus Bride. It is a serious, lovely, slice-of-life take on all these tropes in a very calm and soothing way. You feel relaxed when you're reading this manga. It's just soothing because it's about the relationship between this girl that finally, after many years of abuse, sees something in a complete stranger. Get to unravel the mystery bit by bit as to why Elias picked Chise to be his new apprentice, because that's one of the major plot points. You start to find out why Elias wants an apprentice and why he wants her to be the Magus bride, if you will. And it's all really fun, man. It's a fun, lighthearted read. It has some heavy undertones if you start digging at the plot of the book, and there are some dark elements at play, especially at the end of the first volume. It's very easy to categorize a book like this as lighthearted, when in fact there are tons of really dark and beautiful elements going on, and the exploration of self-worth and a character, how you can surpass yourself after such drastic conditions. One of the aspects of this book that really captivated me and a lot of people is the art. And I do believe Chise mentions the fact that even though the character of Ainsworth, you know, he has a skull for a face, which is weird, but even though it's a skull, there's still a lot of expression behind those eyes, and that, aside from being a plot point, is thanks to the author and the way the character's drawn. It's very expressive, it's very beautiful. Plus, Chise herself, really cool character design in my opinion. Same with Silky right there. It is fantastic. If you like dark fantasy with a lighthearted twist, by all means, this is a book that I really recommend. It can be a little bit slow, so it may not be for everybody. It's a more relaxing read because the plot is very slow moving. But when it has to deliver, I think it does a really commendable job. So there you go. Tell me down below what you thought of this book if you have read it. If not, let me know what's your favorite magical anime or manga that, you know, deals with these sorts of themes. I'm very interested in finding out. As always, guys, thank you for liking, subscribing, commenting down below. You guys are the best. You can find me on your favorite social media platform. Just type a Week in Geekdom, and I'm there for you. Alright, I gotta go. We gotta keep the train rolling with more books and movies and stuff. I don't know. Something else will be reviewed on the next episode. Just stay tuned for that. Thank you, guys. He wants to get an assistant, or not an assistant, an apprentice. Jesus.